Peace. It is the Cliff Notes episode of Stocks and Bars. The last episode we just talked about, it was the hip hop Verzuz, where we got into details about Jay-Z and his comment about nobody can face him. Nobody. And I beg to differ. And I had Steph on, and we also talked about people he thought can also verse Jay-Z in a Verzuz battle. We had a real good conversation, so make sure that you check that out. Now, I want to follow up on that because remember, the Cliff Notes episode is also just adding on to the last conversation that we had. This one, we're going to continue on with the hip hop Verzuz, and then I also want to go into who really is somebody that cannot be beat in a Verzuz battle. We're going to talk about that, and I want you to share that too. So if there's somebody that you feel can beat Jay-Z, make sure that you tag me, tag the show, and let's talk about it. All right, and that's at Wincrease Team on any platform. Twitter, my favorite one, Stock Twits. You can hit me up on Instagram, TikTok, either platform. Hit me up at Wincrease Team. We could talk about who can beat Jay-Z. Then we can also talk about these stocks. What stock is undefeated out there as well? So one thing I wanted to do was jump back to the conversation that me and Steph had. And we had talked about Eminem and him not having a classic album. That kind of resonated with me for a little bit. And I started thinking about it more after the podcast. And then I started talking with my sister. And, you know, she started bringing up a couple things as far as he is concerned. And I was like, yo, there's really not anything I can't just listen through with Eminem. And there's not really a time in my life where I'm like, yo, throw that M on, you know? She's like, yeah. But then I started thinking, whoa, check this out. There is one album that I actually do think is classic from Eminem. And I want you to go back in the archives here and dig this up. If you like me, I still got CDs that's showing how old I am. Check out the Eminem Show and tell me that you cannot listen to that one all the way through. I think that's a classic album that you got there, Eminem. That's cleaning out my closet. And for reference, check this out. Boom. Disc. You remember these days when you used to go to the record store and you used to be waiting to get your hands on a copy of the album and looking at it, it was all plastic wrapped, and you flipping it over back and forth, looking at the artwork, checking out the tracks, how many there are, who executive produced it. Then you get home, you open it up, Christmas package, you checking out the book, looking at what they got inside of the book. Sometimes they had some promo material in the back, but I was the guy who read the credits, who's Eminem shouting out, yo, I got that album. I know that person, that rapper or whatever. Not that I knew him personally, but you have those type of attachments. You would really value the product that you got. But that's me spinning off. So anyway, the Eminem Show is the album that I still think actually does have some classic value to it. So spin that back. You can go stream it, whatever. Go ahead and check that out. Now, on top of covering the whole thing with Eminem, there are actually a few artists that I left out of that list. So let's run down who I think can really beat Jay-Z. Steph disputed some of the ones that I had before, and that's all good because that's what that conversation is for. But yo, there's no disputing on this one. There's nobody going at these cats that's going to beat them. As far as Jay-Z is concerned, it's probably, if we're gonna start crossing genres, we might have some issues. But check this out, all right? So, first one that I got on this list, all right? West Coast cat, been in the game longer than Jay-Z. Has got classic albums. His very first album was classic, and it was well received the very first time it came out. It was hailed as an instant classic when it came out. And this guy's been on the market and is still relative, and he is jumping all over the place now. And this guy that I'm talking about right now is Snoop Dogg. I think if there was a Verzuz battle that Snoop Dogg versus Jay-Z, if that happened, I got Snoop. I got Snoop winning that battle. He's got a lot of crazy hits, and if he just simply played out doggy style, that's going to get the crowd riled up. So I got Snoop versus Jay-Z, and Snoop coming out on top of that one. So that's my number one guy. All right. Number two, this guy is from New York and came out around the time that Jay-Z was hit as well. And they actually did a few songs together. Their camps were real cool, and they were part of that late 90s, early 2000s run in hip hop that is solidified in history as being pretty much the renaissance of hip hop. And that guy that I'm talking about right now recently passed away. God bless the dead. DMX. DMX, I think, would be a perfect battle against Jay-Z, where it would go down to the wire. I think that X would slightly edge him out, but I think that would be a perfect battle. So let's hologram him in, and let's make sure that we get that one going, because that would be an awesome versus if we had that one happen. All right. And the last artist that I have here, and this is as far as swag, this is as far as bars. We're not talking about anything other than those two things when it comes to the verses for me. All right. And then on top of that, he's coming off of pretty much the hottest verses that happened. All right. And this guy single-handedly took down a group. And you know who I'm talking about. My man Jadakiss. Jadakiss versus Jay-Z. I got Jada. I got Al-Qaeda Jada. I got to win in that one. That's a little bit of me just saying bars rule everything. I think I got Jada going on in that. So those are the three artists that I think can absolutely beat Jay-Z in a versus battle. That's Snoop Dogg, that is DMX, and that is Jadakiss. Let me know what you think. Hit me up. That's at Wincrease Team. Any social media platform. Make sure if you want to converse with me on that, let me know. If you disagree, agree, whatever, just hit me up. All right. So I want to also transition this into, since Jay-Z mentioned that, nobody can beat him, that also begs to bring up the topic. Are there really any artists out there that are just untouchable to the point that they can't get beat? I say, yeah, there is one artist that I think that cannot be beat, period. There's nobody out there who could take him on. So this artist is super multi-platinum, been in the game since he was a youngster. Unfortunately, he passed too, but his music lives on. His music and his catalog is instilled in me, you, likely your kids, and probably your kids' kids is going to know this guy's catalog. This is the beauty of music. It transcends worldwide. I'm going to leave this right here. This guy is Michael Jackson. There's nobody that's going to beat Michael Jackson in a versus. There's nobody. And I thought a while before I even brought that up, and I really can't think of anybody that's going to beat Michael Jackson in a versus. Think about it. Who? You would think Prince might come up. The next greatest guy I can think of would be Stevie Wonder. Even those two guys, they're not doing it, man. They're not doing it. So who do you think is a guy or woman that cannot be beat in any verses? Hit me up. Make sure you tag the podcast. We had that conversation. Last but not least, let's talk about these stocks here. Stock market has been special. The stock market has been very volatile for January, where we've had, a downtrend. A lot of people, they start to wonder about the stock market. Like, is it continually going down? What's going to happen here, right? Make sure that you check me out on YouTube, Stock Market Recap. I'll break all that down for you. I use technical analysis every single week, and I show you how to use it. And at the same time, it's also tracking along how to use it as best as you can. When you get a chance, make sure that you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, and I'll break it down for you. The stock market right now, there's a lot of things going on. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Okay, I really don't share this with too many people. My group knows, but now the world is about to know. And if you disagree with me, you're wrong. That's how strong I believe about this. The market does not care about anything except money. That's it. The market does not care about anything except for money. Any presidential stuff, any of this going on in this country, any of this going on over here, this in the news, dead it. It don't care about anything but money. Money moves the market. If money can find a different way to make money, it will go there. If there's no place else for money to go, it's going to come back to the market. Anytime the market starts to withdraw from itself, it's because it's no longer safe for it to make money in the market. And it will find other avenues to make money. Keep that in mind. So when the interest rates are at lows, there's no place you can put your money that is going to be able to generate a return large enough that's going to combat inflation. Two things we got to worry about: inflation, interest rate. All right, because those dictate what happens to money. Follow me. So when the interest rates back in 2008, they were high. If you remember, you had savings accounts that was like 7-8% at that point in time. Money started to leave. All right, we were also talking about there was the housing market stuff that made the market unstable and not safe for it to stay in it, for it to make a return. So what do? You start to pull that out. You park it in different vehicles. You start to find other ways for your money to make money. Keep this in mind. The market cares nothing about, don't tell me about no presidents, none of this, because automatically you tune me out. I'm not with it, because I know that money is driven by money. That's it. The whole premise of money is to make money. So it doesn't care about anything else. It says, can you go out and bring me more of you? That's it. If that answer is yes, then that's where it goes. So keep this in mind. Tune out that nonsense. Money is highly dependent upon money. And you say, well, the presidents and their policies and all that stuff help guide what happens with all that. Okay, yeah, sure. But at the end of the day, if it ain't the interest rate, it doesn't matter. It may affect it in that very, very small, minute time. But when it comes down to it overall, when you take a deep breath and you look at things and you step back and you say, yo, what's really going on? And you want that bird's eye view, that interest rate is all you need to worry about. Keep an eye on that. Right now, they're talking about maybe 3 hikes this year. The market understands that. So what's likely going to happen is the market is going to stay in until they see the results of that. Don't panic, or put your money into vehicles that are going to make you money and do it safely. Now for stock picks, let's check it out. What I want you to do is go to the website, check me out, sign up for free. It's totally free. You get access to option plays every single week. I also do what's called win picks, and that's just me, win increase, my picks. That's how the name developed, win picks. On there, I put picks when I see desirable situations in the market. So when I see pullbacks is when I usually do the win picks. So anyway, check that out. There's a whole list of stocks on there. The easiest way for anybody to get invested is looking at products that you already purchased and see if they are a publicly traded company. I've done that many a times on my series on Instagram. For this one, I'm going to bring back another one that I talked about before, which is Pinterest. Pinterest and actually Etsy. I like both of these plays. I think Pinterest, since we last talked about it, has fallen. That's all right. I think it was around like $37 last time I talked about it, and now it's around $27. But I did say in that last episode when I talked about it that if you want to get involved in Pinterest, understand that it could drop. The target area at that time was like around $32 or so. If it got there, I said it was a good buy. It's at like 27 now. I said at that point, when I talked about it first, that if it moves lower, the next best entry was around $22. And we're not too far from there right now. So 2 trigger points, the 32 and the 22 area. In those areas, that's your best buy, and we are near there. So I think Pinterest is still a good buy. I think that it is going to continue to ride that wave. They recently came out with earnings and they were pretty good, and the stock price started to jump from there. I like Pinterest. That's going to be it for this episode of the Cliff Notes. Thank you for checking that out. Make sure you check out the prior episode. Me and Steph got into who could beat Jay-Z, and we also talked about the stock versus, the very first stock versus, and I think we're going to do that more often. Whoever is on the show, we're likely going to be doing the stock versus. All right, so check you later. Now it's time for the bars. Yo, I gave y'all the stock show, now it's the bar show. I do this for the culture, this is our show. Full ownership, not a partial. Let that equity build and morph into an empire. Then I'ma teach it to the streets, we can all blow. Make talking about stocks a normal part of convo. All the messages you hear in my songs, yo, I'm about to change the world with these bars, Lord, I warn you. And this X-tro, stocks and bars, you know where we are. Let's go.